Coaches, are you ready to revolutionize your game preparation? For the past 5 seasons, coaches across the nation have been using the ultimate scout team game changer, the Coachpad. Imagine this: no more scrambling on weekends to prep scout cards, no more fumbling with paper and binders. Whether you're drawing your cards digitally with a computer program or sketching them by hand, the Coachpad is your all in one solution. Picture yourself on the practice field effortlessly managing your scout team or standing on the sidelines during game day, syncing adjustments from the press box to your coaches on the sideline and back. With the coach pad, you can clearly see your scout cards even in the brightest sunlight. No more squinting or dealing with the wind blowing clear vinyl sleeves everywhere. This offseason, take your coaching to the next level. Get your coach pad today at thecoachpad.com and gear up for a winning season ahead.
Welcome back to another episode of the Gap Down Backer podcast. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that lovely crap that we have to say because YouTube tells us to. Today we have my boy Coach Steve, the offensive coordinator at Addison Trail. Coach, how you doing?
Just great. Never thought I'd be an offense coordinator again for sure, but here we are.
Yeah, here we are. Yeah, I mean we just did an hour and a half on his channel, which was by the time this post was about 4 months ago. But but still, it was a good time. And Coach Albaugh gave us some good questions, and me and Steve BS'd around for a bit. I mean, here let's talk about that first. I mean, how do you end up as an offense coordinator? You've been the run game coordinator for the past little bit, and done a good, and you guys have done a really good job. Kind of how do you kind of get? What kind of led you to get promoted back to being the OC?
Yeah, I've been at Addison Trail. I got there in COVID like an idiot, thinking COVID wasn't going to last, but they brought me on as O-line, run game. I was heavily involved with the offense because me and the OC were the only two offensive guys that worked in the building, so we were very heavily involved. Um, we struggled there at the beginning. COVID year, we went 1-5, then we went 0-9, and we kind of had to regroup. Then we go 2-7. Then we go 6-3, win the first round playoff game. So then we're 7-3, lose the second round to a close game. This past year we went 7-2. First round playoff, we faced another 7-2 team and lost the first round. So things were on the up and up. Back in February, I believe, or before, I think it was January, one of our buddies got the head girls golf job. Talked to our OC about it. He battled with it for a long time. He ended up taking the assistant golf job, which he's been coaching football for about 20 years, and I get it. And it was nothing ill will. He battled with it. And it was funny because I heard from word of mouth. So I texted the head coach. He said, yeah, we have to meet tomorrow. So we sat for like 2.5 hours. And the head coach is like, yeah, you're my first choice to take over, be the OC. So that's kind of how it fell into place. I almost didn't get it at first because the first hour we just kind of talked, and and I do our speed training. I was the O-line coach. He said, that's a lot on your plate to be the O-line coach, speed guy, and now offense coordinator. But like we all know, I looked at him, I said, it's football, man. Like I would figure it out. This is not anything. So it's kind of how it fell into place. This was February-ish, beginning of March. It's my second time being the OC. I was an OC when I was like 24 years old. And now I'm going to have to be 35 in November. So it's been a while. It's been 10 years. So I got it. Very fortunate, very excited to do it. But I forgot how much work it is if you want to do it right. So ever since that, I've been working, grinding, and getting stuff done. But yeah, I joke with people. I don't know if I earned it or I just kind of stepped into it, but the head coach is like, nope, you earned it. You've been doing this with us for 5 years now. I'm going to my 16th year coaching. So he's like, you've earned it. So it's kind of how it all just kind of fell into place for me to get that.
Good. We kind of talked about a little bit on your podcast, but how much are you actually like overhauling? Because it's always an interesting thing, I think, when you're on staff, whether you're on the opposite side of the ball or same side of the ball, and then you become the coordinator. And is that like what it's like that damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, Do I change a bunch of stuff? Do I keep a bunch of stuff? What do I like? What works? What's that? So how are you kind of balancing that aspect of what to keep, what to get rid of, what to change, what not to change?
Well, that was part of that 2.5 hour conversation we had because I was heavily involved in our offense, but there were things that I was not that were not mine. Obviously, the offense coordinator had hit what he wanted to do. Um, so that was my big conversation. Was I when you've coached for a long time and when you do what you and I do, where you're podcasting, you're learning things for different coaches, you find things, you make your own playbook, you have your own ideas. Um, I that was one of my first questions to the head coach was, "What do you want from me? Do you want me to overhaul everything? Do you want to keep it the way it is? Because if we keep it the way it is, I don't know if I'll take it because there are certain things I would like to do." And he said, "Steve, if you want to change every single thing, change every single thing. If you don't, you don't." So I had to look at our offense and make a decision and think about our kids because the kids, like our quarterback, for example, he's going to be a senior. He's been starting since he was a sophomore. If I come in and absolutely change 110% everything, is that going to screw up what we have going on? Is it going to screw this up? Um, so I made the conscious decision to look at what we've done, what I want to do. Can I keep, even if it's just the same terminology where they think it's the same, but it's different? And that's what I've done. I've kind of overhauled the passing game a little bit to change that up. The run game, for the most part, since I was the O line coach, is not going to change too much from terminology wise to certain blocking. That's going to stay the same. Formation names I've kept the same. Um, even motion names I've kept the same. Now I've changed definitions of them. I've changed that type of stuff. Um, and the reason why I decided to keep the same terminology was because to me football is universal. So if I call inside zone, but I call it peanut butter and jelly, well, it's the same thing. So to me, let's just keep it the same. So a lot of the run stuff, since it was mine, is kept the same. Passing stuff, I've kind of nothing against what we were doing, but I kind of overhauled it a little bit. Um, how we call the plays in are going to be changed a little bit. Um, I've changed, even though I've kept formation names, I've changed a little bit how they line up. Um, but that's kind of what I've changed. But I've also changed um, mainly definitions, like how far do I want the formations to line up. I have a clear definition of where they line up. I have a clear definition of what each motion means. I have a clear definition of um, routes. It has to be this many steps to this many steps. We're going to be very disciplined in that. So that type of stuff I've overhauled a little bit. Um, the challenge we'll have with it all is I'm the only offensive coach in the building now. It was me and the OC. Now it's just me. All my assistant coaches are outside the building. They have real jobs, so they don't work in a school. So the head coach is going to be heavily involved, but he's not handcuffing me. All he said was, "Can we run the ball?" That's what he's looking at. He doesn't care how we do it. He just wants to do that. So he'll be heavily involved, but he's hands off too. He's there for me to come up to him and say, "Well, I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about this," and we have a conversation. So that's kind of my overhaul of it. Our pass game will look different than it has the last 2 years for sure. There's one or two things that are the same, but I've tweaked them, but the rest is different. We'll have a couple different run plays in because I've adapted it to what we have. Um, Formations are going to look the same a little bit. But our motion game is what's going to change a lot. Even though they're the same, I have clear definitions, and it's going to change it just a hair. But that's where we're going to look different this coming season.
Okay. How has the transition to coaching quarterbacks been? Because as a long time O line guy and huddling over there, I mean, obviously you've taken over the quarterback. So how's that kind of process been?
So right as you're recording this right now, we don't have spring ball, but I have sat down with our quarterback. Now the funny thing is our quarterback going to be a senior. I had him as a basketball player as a freshman, so we already have a relationship. Me being heavily involved in the offense, I would talk to him on the sideline of a game and stuff. I coach his older brother who just graduated, so we have a relationship. But I actually coached quarterbacks when I became the OC years and years and years ago. Um, the transition will be fine. It's just I now have to. I had to dust off my drills, like quarterback drills. Like I've gotten good ones over the years. Now you have to dust them off and say what's going to fit what we want to do. Um, so the adjustment's been fine so far. As we start next week. We start June 10th, and that'll be my first time. The only thing I'm worried about is throwing. You know, us old linemen can't throw the ball very well, so when I'm out there coaching it, but the read game, the passing game, how to read it, that's going to be, I think it'll be fun. It's going to be fun um, because my first time coaching quarterbacks, first time around was just doing quarterbacks. Once in a while we got with the running backs, but it was very individualized. I believe in doing some individualized, but we have to get with the running backs. We have to get with the O line. We have to get with the wide receivers. That's a big change that I'm going to make. So that will be fun to do. And because of the offense I envision for our quarterback to do, I think will be fun for him. So it's going to be fun. I just have to dust off a lot of that. So I've been researching a lot of, if you throw a ball, where does it miss? How did he miss? Look at his hips, look at his feet, getting my eyes back to that. So that part's been fun because you get to do something new. Like O-line every year, I knew what to do as soon as you walk up. You don't even have to plan anything. You know what to do. Quarterback be a little different. And we have a quarterback that's going to be a sophomore. He's going to be the backup. He actually played in 2 varsity games last year. So having 2 guys with some experience is going to help me out a lot. Then we have a quarterback. I think that's a freshman if he comes to our school still. It will be coachable, so it'll be fun. But yeah, it's just mainly just don't ask me to throw the ball. I can show you the mechanics. Just don't ask me to spin it 50 yards.
You also mentioned earlier the speed training stuff, and we're both big proponents of Tony Holler's Feed the Cat stuff. How is that? I mean, I think the last time we talked, that is kind of mostly relegated to your alignment. How has that evolved or continued to evolve for you guys and what you're kind of doing?
Yeah, last year was the first year we installed it. So our head coach actually worked. Our head coach worked around Chris Corfus way back when Chris Corfus was at York Community High School in Elmhurst. Because when I presented this to our head coach, he goes, "Where have I seen this before?" And he went home, he slept on, he comes back, he goes, "I saw this happening, in like 2009 or 10 when he was at Elmhurst." And I said, "Yeah, Chris Corfus is a big part of the RPR stuff." I said, "Tony Holler's come in with all the speed stuff." So when I presented it last year was the first year that our head coach was like, "I'm all in. Like, I am all in on this." So last year was the first year. It was a very big, like, that's why I asked you on mine was what was the selling point, It was tough in terms of getting the kids to figure out what this was, because I even had kids coming up to me like, "Why are we not running this, or why are we not doing this? This is what they've done since they were, middle school and little kids." And so you have to try to get that out of them. You have to sell it to the assistant coaches. And I could tell during the season that it became just me doing everything because they all kind of just stepped back. Not saying they weren't bought into it, but you have to coach them up in it. The speed workouts, after you do it for a while, kids get used to it. Like, hey, this is what we're doing. The RPR stuff is still very hard to get these kids to understand what it is. And even some adults, to get them to understand what RPR is. So I took a step back and realized I was just gun ho on it. Like, I just went right into it. So taking a step back, even before I became the OC, I have a PowerPoint made. I took videos off of YouTube and put them up there. Like, this is what the workout is. There's a great video from the strength coach at Minnesota doing the RPR with like a bodybuilder. I said, I want all coaches to watch this. This is what we're doing, and get them to understand that I didn't publish enough timing. We didn't time as much as I wanted to. Because like I said, when you're the head coach, I think you can get away with it. When you're just the assistant coach, it's hard to put all that in. But now I will still be doing that, but it's going to get to a point where I actually stop doing it. Our head coach wants the assistant coaches to kind of take over because I have so much on my plate now as the OC. But what's funny is we try to do the sprint workouts in the spring. Like, hey, kids, come at 6 a.m. before we lift. The numbers for our attendance was not great. We have kids in a lot of sports. We do. And so I moved. I bought a house. I moved farther away, and I looked at the head coach saying, I'm not quitting on the kids, but I cannot leave at 4 a.m., 4:30 in the morning and do this a lot because I coach sports. So we actually took a step back and we said, you know what? Let's get back to it in the summer. I've had kids come up to me now and say they feel like they've gotten slower without doing this stuff. So I actually think taking a step back from it has helped kids realize, like, oh, I did feel a little better doing RPR. I did feel a little better doing your speed stuff. I actually did with the freshman basketball team. They knew it. Like, as soon as that buzzer went off, I said, hey, RPR, and then we line up on the baseline and start doing the speed stuff. And I had no ankle injuries in basketball. I had, there were some tweaks. Basketball, you do some things, but there was nothing like that. I didn't have like injuries. And I tell the head coach, I tell the AD that I present it to the athletic director. He loves it. So it's slowly getting there, but it's a different way of thinking. And so it's been a little tougher than I thought getting this to be a bought-in factor to it. We actually talked about it to one of our youth coaches, and they even said, like, well, for punishment, you got to make them run a lap. And our head coach goes, that's cross-country training. Why are we running a lap? This is football. And so I'm starting to get, like, it's hard. It's hard to tell adults, like, this is different. And so it's been tougher than I thought, but we're going to get back to it next week. And I think,
oh yeah, we had like I had a kid smirk or make a comment about like one of our assistants about, are you gonna make me run? I was like, no, he's gonna make you roll. That's what there's a big difference. Like I am like watching you go 50% around a track does not do me any good. That is not. I need you to run fast, like in what we do. And
we talked about that, and we're at a point where it's like, hey, you might do what we call grass cutters, where we have the boards, they push them on the turf, or we're actually going to get to a point where we say, hey, here's the terminology we're going to use. Today's not your day, man. Go home, recoup, come back tomorrow. Like, kick them out. Like, just go home, come back. We're going to get to that.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, this won't post till later in the year, so I don't care about this. But when we're running, I mean, we run our 40s, we run our 10s, we do whatever we're running. We're doing our speed warm up because that's our warm up every day. Starting to add some additional little things. But then, like, all of our other running are our drills. Like, we've been running Rocket, the Blair Hubbard stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I mean, you're going full speed on that. That's like doing speed training. Like, we're not going to kill you with how many you run, but, like, that's the full speed, edge, go. And so I think that's kind of, we'll see. I'm interested to see what times week 2 are. Because day 1, when we did it, like, when we first did the 10s, kids didn't really understand how to run them or why. And then when we came Wednesday to run the 40s, they kind of figured it out a little bit. Like, oh, like, he's not joking when he says he's going to post the top 5 and do this and what we're emphasizing, where to pull up at, and cut. I mean, all my coaches are like getting on them about, hey, following through, finishing, all that stuff. So it's starting to churn and work. I mean, one of my coaches really wants to start time at 20s as well. So, like, they're all bought in and kind of where it does. And I talk all the time about speed development and what we're doing. Like, I mean, broad jump is like one of the biggest measurements colleges uses for athletic ability.
Mm-hmm.
So some of our kids have started taking that a little bit more seriously. Like, yeah, like
Even because last year I do pogos a lot. I do pogos like every day, and we have a kid who plays football and baseball. He's a kid that if you would want 11 of him, like, he's a kid that goes to class early, sits outside and reads a book. Like, he's just a good kid, like one of those kids. His pogos, I didn't measure them, but I could just tell from eyes. like his pogos were getting so much higher, his broad jumps. I kept saying, like, who's going to catch him? Because they were doing, now we still had some kids that might have been a little bit quicker than him, but he's a kid that came up to me. He goes, I feel in baseball I'm getting slower. And I'm like, yep. Because he's a kid that, like, I want to do the speed work. And I looked at him and I had to tell him, sorry, like, I can't be there in the morning. I got too much going on. And he's like, okay. And I said, but in the sun. So he's a kid that will message me saying, can you just give me workouts and I'll do it on my own, which is awesome. I had a couple do that. So I'm hoping that. And the other problem is if you're just doing football but no other sport, they kind of fade away from it a little bit. So that's my next challenge. Last summer, I did speed work with every single sports camp. I went to soccer camp. I went to basketball, girls basketball, baseball.
Oh,
I did not do that this summer because it was a lot. Like to get to the school at 6:30 in the morning to make sure I'm ready by 7 a.m. for soccer, go to my own camp, then go to their camp, do this. Mentally, it took a toll on me to, like, if that was my only job, I could do it, but to do that, worry about my basketball team, worry about my football team, worry about my home life on top of that, it mentally just took a
no, I
toll.
get it. And that's I'm gonna start implementing some of the speed stuff and the flexibility and all that stuff into PE and strength training. Like the classes, like we're gonna start introducing this stuff because I mean it helps all of our sports, and that's kind of what I talked to about when I interviewed. Is just like
Mhm.
it's not just getting it's getting all the kids faster and stronger, and so far everybody's been pretty receptive on that. So yeah, like I mean, I think I need to refresh on a couple things because we were not feed the cats last year at Seedsville, and it kind of annoyed me.
Mhm.
Just because I just felt like we just kept getting slower and slower. Um, like yeah, like well, especially with us running rocket speed, 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 speed. That's
Right, right.
I mean, just
That's why for us, like I mentioned, depending on when this comes out, they'll know the offense a little bit, I guess. But
it's September, October is when you're looking at, so they'll know by now. Yeah.
yeah, so we're gonna emotional. I like last season our offense coordinator was in a wedding and he just could not get out of it. So on a Friday night, I had to become the OC. Um, and I kept joking with people. I'm like, oh, so even this year, I'm like, oh, so when we don't make the playoffs again or when we lose, I'm the one to blame now because I'm the only one that's different. But we're going to motion a lot. And so to motion and that's quick bursts is where this comes in. I have the days labeled. I need to label it differently than X Factor. I'm trying to think of a different name. But like I'll label it speed day. And I tell the coaches, like on a speed day, defensively, if you want to do pursuit drill, awesome, because it's a speed day, get them moving. If it's a work day, X factor day, whatever it is, and I look over and we're doing pursuit drill, we're doing this, they're getting the top speed, I'm going to lose it. If I look over and your punishment is even at the freshman running a lap, I am going to lose it because that's not what this is. Doesn't mean you don't work hard, but you also have to understand what we're trying to accomplish here. Even our Friday nights, the pregame, to me, it's a show. Like you're out there just put on a show. And I'm watching this and I'm like, oh, we're running full speed on these routes before a game. And so after the season, I talked to Brad Dixon and he explained it to me in a way that kind of stuck. He was like, think of your body as like a ball of energy. So he's like, you're out there before a game. If you start taking pieces from that ball of energy already, before you even play, that's a problem. So you're out there doing that stuff. If you're having to run vertical routes full speed and you're trying to do this and you're getting like 25 reps in or 30 reps in before the game even starts, you're already putting them in a bad spot. He's like, so it kind of stuck with me. So me and the head coach are kind of overhauling that. Like with my O line before a game, they didn't hit. We worked on steps, hand placement. We would just walk through some plays. My O line sat for like 10 minutes while everybody else was still doing stuff. And I remember somebody saying, why are you guys not doing anything? I'm like, we're resting. That is doing something. I want them to drink water. I want their helmets off. I want them to talk to each other. I want them to just think about the game. I don't care if they're staring at the other opponent, just looking while I'm watching the wide receivers do this, this, and this. And I'm not talking bad about anybody. I don't blame anybody. This is what we grew up with. This is what we know. Um, and obviously it worked. I mean, we went 7-2, so you can't really take that away. But now that we have a target on our back, I want to make sure we're all ready to go Friday nights to play. So that's kind of, that part of it too. And the kids might hate it at first because they're so used to whatever, but we have to coach it out of them. Because that's a whole other podcast with youth sports. Like, why are you making 10 to 13-year-olds run gassers and stuff? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And then they get to high school, and if they come to me and we don't do it, you would think they love it, but then they're like, well, this is what we did, and I have to get that out of them. So the biggest challenge is almost getting the adults on board. But the thing, like with you, you're the head coach, you're going to do it. My head coach, you would think I had a battle with him to do it. Nope. He is 110% on board because he played at North Central College. And he even told me, he goes, you would think we would run all the time at North Central College. He goes, looking back at it, this would have been like 2006 for him. He goes, we were doing some of this, not the RPR stuff, but he was like, we didn't run gassers. We didn't do this in college. We just practiced hard, and that got us in shape, like what we were doing. Yeah. So he looked back on his own coaching and playing career, and he is 100% on board. And I will say this. We had no injuries last year in football unless it was like a freak thing. But we had no knee, like nothing.
When I was at Bradford, we had one weird knee thing where he kept getting like fluid buildup in his knee, but that was just a weird thing. We had one concussion, but that was a freak, like bounce off the ground. My head bounced off the ground when I fell. Like, you're going to get a concussion doing that. And then I think I had like one minor hamstring thing the whole year. Other than that, nothing. Like, everybody's healthy, everybody's good. We're like I said, I've slowly started introducing it, and I think we're going to continue to escalate it throughout the summer. Like, this past week was introducing the timing and the warm up. Now, and then we also introduced the little hurdle over unders this week.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like, we introduced that just for some flexibility. It's like at the end of practice, I had them go through like twice. Thursday we did was it Thursday or Wednesday? We did some yoga and stretching at the end of practice, lifting, whatever you want to call it. Like, I've changed the Cobra form to, I call it Dead Baby Seal. Kids always laugh at that. And the sad thing is, I have like no lineman bodies, so it doesn't fit anymore either. That's the funny thing. Like, all my kids are skinny and tiny. Like, so they're not really that. It's just, yeah. The only thing I've not gotten into yet is the RPR stuff, but just because I haven't been trained on it. Like, I want to get trained on it because, like, watching YouTube videos, like, I've got a little bit of sense of it, but just not enough to.
Yeah, I got certified in it, so it was online, and we're actually very fortunate because you got Chris Corfus, that's one of the founders. He's literally coaching at a high school here in Illinois up by us. So if we wanted to, Tony Haller is literally 20 minutes from me. So there's ways that I personally can find. Brad Dixon's in Illinois. If I were, so I'm very fortunate.
Well, now that I'm on the western side of the state again, when he does the whole Feed the Cats symposium thing, the football track symposium, I'm gonna try to go next year because, like, I've been on the other side of the state, so it's 2 hours plus wherever that. When you're 10 minutes from the border, like, that 5 hour drive turns into two and a half. So
I recommend the RPR stuff. Like, whatever the tests they do, that's how I kind of showed the kids. Like, the biggest test is the psoas muscle, and it's the little muscle on our thighs it's like the size of our pinky that we don't use because our thighs overcompensate. And so the big thing they talk about is, we have a perfect example. One of our best athletes, his freshman year, tore his ACL or MCL in basketball. As a sophomore, comes in and tears his other one in his other knee. And then last year, his junior year, his MCL kept popping in and out. So he has not had a good career with knees. But I thought about it. He always had big thighs. When he tore his ACL, he was walking with a torn, like, he didn't know. because his thighs were so big. So the thing you learn is the reason why a lot of people's thighs get really big is because we overcompensate walking, we overcompensate running because we don't use that muscle. So if you wake that muscle up, it helps take pressure off your thighs and your knees. And the test is like, put your leg up. I can push their leg down. They activate that psoas muscle. Me, I am a big dude. I am 6'5", like 300 pounds. If I get a kid that's 150 pounds, I cannot push his leg down. I can't. It becomes that strong within like seconds. So that type of stuff, I show the kids these tests. And I remember the first day I did it, they said it was magic. And I'm like, it is. And then they start to question you. What does this do? Like, what's the point? Like, even when you show them the tests, but but still, I show the kids that and they're like, oh, okay. And a lot of kids privately will come up to me saying, I love it. Like, I love it. With all the tests. And then I've had kids come to me in other sports and say, man, my shoulder's hurting. I'll do the RPR thing on their shoulder. And 2 days later, like, hey, that helps. I got to do that every day. So there is something to it. So I recommend it to people. I got certified in it. I even got like feed the cat certified, whatever. So I recommend it. It was all, I'd rather it be in person, but I just couldn't make it work. So it was all online. But the great thing is I can message people about it. And when you get certified, you get the contact information. You can reach out to those people. And it's great. I recommend it. It works very well with the speed thing. It does.
Yeah, and that's the sense I got, like, just like listening to Tony and the others, like it's the comprehensive.
Even if you just do zone one, like the zone one is the easiest, the big stuff. So the first day I did all of it. Then I realized that was probably too much. So I did just zone one. Then a couple days later, hey, we're gonna do zone one, zone two. Then we do zone one, zone two, zone three, and make it work. And that's why I always start a workout with like a pogo or some type of jumping, so it kind of uses the whole body to try to, we just woke it up. They call it wake up drills. You just woke it up that's never been woken up before. You don't want to go in there and just say, hey, let's sprint. No, you want to do like a pogo. You want to do high knees. I don't call them, I hate butt kickers. I call them thigh kickers because butt kickers they are not realistic. So I'm like, you're trying to kick your thigh. Your knees are up high.
Oh, I have some terrible looking butt kicks on ours.
I don't do them.
Yeah.
Coach, I don't do them. That's the thing I was learning from the speed thing is like, when you're sprinting, do you actually get your leg all the way back like that to try to kick your butt? No. So I call them thigh kickers. And I didn't get that from anybody except me. That's what I came up with. I keep the prime time name, the quick prime time.
That's why I've not added the prime time stuff yet. So I've added, I got the pogos, I got the skater jumps, I got some other hip mobility and some other stuff in there. But
I don't do skater jumps for two reasons. One, my kids are very learn with their eyes type of kids. And my old fat ass is not about to try to do the skater stuff and hurt myself. So I do prime times. Now the bent knee prime times are a little woof. But the big thing I found is, and I was listening to Tony Holler say this, I think, kids that just don't use their arms. If they use their arms, they get like 5 or 10% faster than what they do. So like when we do quick prime times, I make fun of our kids. They're so focused on how quick their feet go that their arms go straight because that's what they're freaking out about. So I say, guys, what year is it? And they're like, it's summer. I'm like, it's not Christmas. You're not no nutcracker. That's what you look like when you're trying to do it. Like, we got to bend our arms. We got to do this. Yeah. So we'll do arm swings. We'll do everything. If I had a kid come on here, they would say the first thing Coach Steve always says is arms, 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 arms. Move your arms. Move this. That's one of the first things I say. And so we've really focused on that. But I'm big on quick prime times. I think it works the ankles really well. I love the regular prime times. I'll even sometimes have them do balance drills. I'm big on getting on the bleachers and doing jumps and step ups and them learning how to do that. Again, that psoas muscle really to work. I have to adapt some things. I got very stagnant. I just kind of did the same things over and over. So I got to incorporate ab stuff. I got to incorporate. Some of that's done in the weight room though. I'm not in. So like, yep. I won't be in the weight room this year. I'll be speed, and then we'll split them up. So if like varsity's with me, we'll install before we go outside. So like, hey, today we're going to do inside zone. So the line goes away. They work on that. And this is the pass protection. I'll work on everything else. Then we switch. Then we install with the freshmen. So I won't even be in the weight room. I'll just be the speed guy. I don't even have to worry about that. But our head coach is incorporating the weight room with the speed stuff. So we're trying our hardest, because we look back at the teams we lost to over the last 2 years. The other teams, they were just faster. They were way faster than us. So how do we keep up? Me and the head coach are really working well together on this. And if we lose games, it'll be because the new OC came in and screwed it up. Should have just kept the same playbook and everything else. But I'm ready for the heat. I took the heat when I was 24. I'll take the heat again when I'm 30.
I took plenty of heat last year, and there's a lot of factors that go into it. It is what it is. So, yeah, I want an interesting point of trying to go both sides. So, as of right now, but that's a different, longer conversation. I'm trying to think. Like, I'll ask you this because so this isn't just football, because I do actually enjoy listening to some of your other stuff and messing with you or
God.
Earl. So I'm asking you two questions. So any, because I know you're a big Marvel slash Walking Dead slash. I mean, you're. I mean, nerd's a bad word, because nerd can be, you can be a nerd about anything. You can be a nerd about football. You can whatever. Is there anything like movie wise or TV show you're excited about right now? Like, because I know we talked a little bit about tires earlier today, but like again, obviously looking at your background, and I obviously you freak out over Illinois stuff like it's no other. But is there anything you're excited about? Look at, because I was watching like the Alien Earth trailer earlier today, and I was like, oh, this looks great.
So I'm going to disappoint you a little bit. I am far behind on Marvel. Like, I have not seen the Thunderbolts movie. I used to go right when they came out, and coaching softball with rainouts and rescheduling, I wasn't going to mess with it. So what am I excited about? I love the Doomsday stuff that's happening with Marvel, that movie Doomsday. I'm a big Benedict Cumberbatch guy, so anything with Doctor Strange I get excited about. I'm trying to hope they come out with another movie. The Daredevil show that they rebooted and made on Disney was an awesome show. I watched it. It is I would love to get my wife to even watch that. She's not big in the Marvel stuff. Like, I think you would like Daredevil. There's a storyline. There's this. I was obviously laughing last night. We put on season 2 of Tires with Shane Gillis. It's like it's the dumber down version of The Office. I think the way they film it. I am also big into Stranger Things, which is another nerd thing. Season 5, I'm excited for.
There you go.
I hate how the kids went from like 10 years old, now they're like 19 years old, how long this has taken. They took forever with it, but I am excited for that. And like you said, I'm big into anything Illinois sports because I grew up 20 minutes from campus. So anything that has to do with like Illinois football, I'm loving. Brent Bielema roasting people on X has been amazing to watch.
He is the Midwest version of Lane Kiffin. That's
He is.
the easiest way to say it.
He is. He can do no wrong right now. No matter what he does, we're all going to be very supportive of him. I've gotten to meet him twice, which is awesome. Yeah, I'd say that's all. I need to catch up on the Marvel stuff. Having a newborn coming in a few months is going to put a damper in that, maybe. I guess that's the other thing excited about is having the newborn come. By the time this comes out, he might be here already.
He will be here already. I almost guarantee it. Like, this is like just when this is going to come out. The other thing I want to ask you, because again, I jumped on and was busting your balls about playing NCAA as you try to Twitch and live stream at the same time, trying to support my boy. Are we looking forward to this year's version? Like, I to be honest, I like that they're adding Missouri State and Delaware. Like, I think that's going to be interesting. You know, I think I saw like, I don't know if it was official, but supposed ratings for each team, which they were dreadful. Like, I think Missouri State was like a 55 overall, like horribly bad. But I mean, are we excited? Are we look forward to it? Like, I also saw that like each school's what they get from the game will be based off of how much they're actually played. So I just want to just like nonstop hammer Ohio University just so they get some,
Oh,
just like
I'm gonna play
there.
nothing but Illinois, like
Like,
Illinois or Eastern. Like, come on, man, let's go. I'm excited because it takes you back to our childhoods, right? You know, we always loved getting the new game. Um, I just hate paying for a brand new game. I wish it would just be like, hey, spend $10, we update the game. I wish there was technology for that. But I am excited. I just hope they fix the option thing because the option thing made me mad because growing up, even though if you want to call me a spread guy, you can call me whatever you want. There was nothing better playing growing the game growing up running option and how you read it.
yep.
This game where you have to like hit the button now to keep it, like I kind of hope they go back to hit the button to hand it off because I do that too. Like
Yeah.
Coach Allball did his
His
league, and I was in it for 2 seasons. I didn't do the third season. I just didn't have time. It was just another anxiety piece for me. Like, oh my God, I gotta get this game in while I'm trying to coach, while I'm trying to, do whatever. I would try to run option in that league, and I would screw it up because I have the
old
still
program.
in my brain is like hit the button to hand it off, and I would hit it, but it was to keep it, and my quarterback gets killed, and you're like, but no, I love the fact that NCAA is back. It's your childhood all over again. Love it, and I will continue to get the games as they come out. And I will hammer away at Illinois. I'll play Illinois all the time to make sure that they get some money sent their way. And then I want a piece of that too. Like, hey, Coach B, I sent you guys a lot of money playing NCAA. I need. Can you pay my mortgage this month for me or something? Like, come on.
Yeah, do something nice. All right. Well, coaches, give Coach Steve a follow, like, share, subscribe. Check out his YouTube channel. Follow him on all the TikTok and other social media platforms that Coach is on. Give Coach a hand and do all the same for us. And otherwise, that's another episode of the Gap Down Backer podcast.